Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Vanessa Dunn Guyton, and I am the proud founder and executive director of Hush No More. Hush No More supports survivors when they're ready to come forward to share their story, to get resources, or just to have somebody to listen to. We also provide training in our communities on what we call the hush topics: sexual assault, domestic violence, human trafficking, child sexual abuse, incest, molestation, all of those topics that family and friends have a hard time discussing. And so today we are going to talk about the epidemic of teen dating violence. It is definitely a problem. One in three teens are experiencing or have experienced some type of physical, sexual, or emotional violence. And so we want to talk about that today because it is so important that parents and teens understand this and know that it's happening. So I am honored because I have an amazing guest with me. Miss Delisa Adams of Visions of Women is joining me. Welcome, beautiful.
Hello, Dr. Vanessa Dunn Guyton. Thank you so much for allowing me to grace the Hush No More podcast, the presence, the platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It is truly an honor because I've been wanting to get you on for some time now, but our schedules are very busy. You are a busy woman. And so I'm
Mhm.
glad that you finally can come on and talk about teen dating violence and the epidemic and about your organization. So tell us a little bit about Dorlisa.
Yes, ma'am. So I am Dorlisa C. Adams. I am located in the Hopkins, South Carolina area with my husband, Ethan Adams, and I have been here for about 3 years. I'm originally from North Augusta, South Carolina, and that's where like the majority of my family is over there. But I have been very grateful to be here in the Hopkins/Columbia area. It's only like 10 minutes from Colombia. But since I have been here, I've been continuing to grow my Visions of Women platform that I've started while I was in college. So through that experience with being in college and starting that dating scene over time, and my friends, seeing how they operated in their relationships, I wanted to definitely have some type of women support group. So I can share that in a few, but I enjoy walking on trails, nature. I really enjoy just encouraging women as well. Just continuing to teach about prayer as I continue to grow through prayer and just maturing and, you know, excelling through adulthood, womanhood. So I just love women empowerment as well through my journey. I have a bachelor's degree in sociology from Lander University, and I also have a master's in public administration that focuses in nonprofit and for-profit management from Liberty University. So I am just grateful, to be here and continuing to stay positive on this journey with talking about healthy relationships, and that's the bulk of who I am and what I'm continuing to do.
I love it. I love it. I think it's important that we walk in our purpose. And it seems like you found your purpose early, Delisa. So I'm
Mhm.
really impressed with that. When I first met you, I felt like you were younger, but you were mature and you knew what direction you wanted to go. Even with your college degrees, it's an alignment. When did you know that you wanted to be in this nonprofit space and helping people?
Ooh, yeah. So it's funny because I actually started off as like an education major while in school. I really wanted to I wanted to teach history, right? And so through that, it like learning about history in college was just totally different. It was nothing like high school. So I was like, you know what? Maybe this is not it. So I went through like, oh, I don't know what to do. I kind of think like all students may go through that, where it's like you think you know what you want to do, but then that course changes. And so you just have to trust the process, right? So I ended up changing my major to sociology, and that gave me a foundation and background with learning about, violence and different groups of people in society. And through my internship, I worked at a domestic violence shelter, just different things like that. So, and then I realized, like, hey, like with sociology, like that ties in history, it ties in, people learning, how society operates. And I was like, this is so me, because I love community and I love family. I love, working with people. And so as I continue to develop that and understanding like what I really enjoy doing in my life, I just continue to stay on that course. And so even through my master's program, which I did not think I was going back to school like ever after getting my bachelor's, going back to school to get a master's, being in a nonprofit world, as I mentioned with my internship, working at a domestic violence shelter, that was like my first start of like actually, working with a nonprofit. But at that time, I didn't know like, oh, nonprofit, like that's what I want to do. Like I'll like at that point, I just knew I really enjoyed working with people and helping people. And so as I continued to go on, what happened was after I graduated in 2016, when I started Visions of Women, I was just thinking it was just a women's support group. But then doing research and understanding a little bit more about the nonprofit world, I decided I wanted to make Visions of Women a nonprofit because I wanted to continue to do work in that area. So, and I felt like if I, was to get the, nonprofit status, then I would be able to, do more in the community, and have also, have people understand like, hey, like this is a problem and this is a cause that is dear to my heart, and wanted to get people to support that. So having a nonprofit and being able to give back, with my target audience, teens and college students, I wanted to do a little more. And so that's why I actually started the nonprofit, and got that status in 2018. So everything kind of happened in different sections, but I feel like even, like today, I am right where I am supposed to be.
I love it. I love it. What programs does Visions of Women offer?
Yes, ma'am. So currently we offer our Purple Chat. With the Purple Chat, we have our women's support group, and those are for ages 18 and up. So those are our young ladies coming together who are, they could be in college or not. We don't discriminate, but we come together and we talk about healthy relationships, self-care, and we also just talk about just relationship issues that we may be going through. But the whole idea and purpose of that is to bring resources to the table for our young ladies or any student that wants to be involved with our Purple Chat. And then we also have our Real Talk group sessions that we do with teens, especially in the month of February, because February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. And so whether it's with a church group or with a youth group, we like to bring teens, boys and girls together to talk about healthy relationships and just give those questions to them and let them, talk amongst each other. But as the facilitator, I am often, jumping into those conversations to whether it's to correct or give another perspective. But the whole idea of that program is to make sure that they understand healthy relationships and what that looks like. And then we also have our Thou Girls League, which we have had the opportunity to run for maybe about 3 summers now. And so that has been done through our virtual platform to talk to girls who are in high school about healthy relationships and what that looks like. And we've been able to run that program in person, and due to the pandemic, of course, is been online, but we've actually had more participation that way with the young ladies. And so just encouraging them to be in healthy relationships with themselves, their family, and their friends. So And so those are our, three main programs. And then the resources that we give, we have our purple closet, which when anytime I get donations for clothes, sometimes those clothes have tags on them. So with having clothes and being able to even give feminine products, when we get domestic violence calls, I'm always asking, like, do you need any clothes or feminine products? Because we also give those as well. And with our college group, um, with working with our college students within that purple chat, I want to back up for a minute. We also have those young ladies on college campus being advocates. They're hitting the ground running, doing information tables, giving resources at the table when students are, whether they're new to the campus or whether they're just doing like a day where all of the organizations can come out and give information. Our young ladies are out there doing that as well. So with all of my programs, I tend to mentor a lot through them, even with just the young ladies who are in college and want to become domestic violence advocates. So just through our whole entire program, I also try to give them opportunities to take, trainings and courses to learn more about domestic violence and sexual assault, mental health, just different things to, perfect them in that area of becoming advocates for domestic violence and sexual assault.
I love it. I think that you offer great programs. I want parents to really pay attention to the services that you offer. I want to know for your online programs, can someone outside of South Carolina participate?
Yes, ma'am. They can. I think that's the joy of being more
Virtual.
virtual now. Because, I, work with people in different areas, but because I'm pulled so much here, I don't get to spend a lot of time, outside of South Carolina. But if there is anyone who is, in a different state, they may, email us at contact@visionsofwomen.org. And most certainly you can join our, Val Girls League or even the Purple Chat, because again, these are resources. And if this is a platform that is for you and you would like to, engage and learn about healthy relationships or what domestic violence looks like or teen dating violence looks like and where those resources are, because I don't just give local resources, but I give national resources as well, then please do join us.
I love it. I think it's important that parents understand that there are programs available. A lot of times we don't know about them. And so
Mhm.
that's my whole purpose of Hush No More Champions is to bring on nonprofit organizations and advocates to let the community know what's going on. So
Mhm.
as it relates to what's going on, colleges, what is going on with our teens and our high schools as it relates to teen dating violence? Can you give parents some insight of what this epidemic really looks like?
Yeah, so through what I've been seeing, we've been seeing a lot of it actually even just being on social media, as well as just bullying. I know sometimes people may not want to associate that with violence, but with me, even just being in middle school and going through bullying, I went through the majority of bullying in my sixth and seventh grade year. And I remember telling my mom, like, hey, I cannot continue to go here. Like, this is not working for me. I'm being bullied, days where I'm crying and just not, feeling comfortable like at all. And so thankfully my mom was, able to, hear me, and we did make some changes. And through that process, I, like I said, I didn't ever think like I would be here just talking about, teen dating violence or healthy relationships. But through the process, just continuing on my journey, um, teen dating violence, I feel like we've all been there in some shape or form, but we've all been through an unhealthy relationship, no matter if it was with your friends or with family, like it doesn't matter. Like we've all been there. And so I just think that maybe we need to pay more attention to our students and their friends. Even like I say, on the social media platforms, I know a lot of the kids now, like they're getting, cell phones by the time they're like age 5 now. Like, but there has to be some type of balance and security there when it comes to students, and being able to listen to them when they are telling you like, hey, mom and dad, I'm going through this. Because I think sometimes when students are seeing that they're being bullied, like you can tell a teacher, but so much is going on, so they're not paying attention. Like, you can tell mom and dad, but they're working so much, they're not paying attention to you. So even just slowing down, and as parents being able to ask children like, hey, like, how is your day going, how are your relationships going with your friends, and just being paying attention to them if there's anything that doesn't sound right in those relationships. So just making sure that you are aware who they are around, and understanding like if there is something that is not right, then something has to be done about that. Because I think, again, when it comes to bullying, it kind of can just be brushed off the shoulder, like, oh, everybody goes through bullying, get over it. But that can really traumatize a child. And I definitely think paying attention more to, even again, just social media, um, and paying attention to those signs of just going through those unhealthy relationship with your child, teen, that would make a world of a difference.
I think it's important that you bring up bullying because bullying occurs in relationships, right? And I don't think that parents connect the two, but it happens, right? It's also a form of power and control. And one of the major complaints that children tell me, and I don't know about for you, is that their parents don't listen. They don't have time, right? And as parents, we are working, some of us in college, we're trying to make ends meet, where we have multiple children. And so we're trying to figure it out, but
Yeah,
our children don't feel like there's a safe space at times. And
yeah.
it's not, you could be the perfect parent, but sometimes there's still some things that's missing. So I think that's important for our children that for parents to realize that our children are going through that.
Yeah, I've definitely heard from teens like, hey, like, they just don't understand me. My parents just don't understand me. They don't want to listen to me. They just want to, tell me what to do and da 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 da. I'm like, calm down. Let's breathe, okay? So, when we look at that, and teens say, oh, my parent is not listening to me and this is what I'm going through, then like, hey, like, we need to bring those conversations to the table, right?
We do.
We need to bring those conversations to the table, even if we have to tell a trusted adult instead, because we're not feeling heard. I often remind teens that you can tell a trusted adult. There are counselors on these school campuses, on college campuses. There are counselors. You have your student health wellness centers, where you can go gain access to those resources that are on campus or just in the community. So definitely, like, don't just stand by and let yourself go through that trauma, but instead advocate for yourself, right? Dr. Guyton, I think that's very important. As advocates, that's what we do, right? We remind them to advocate for themselves. So use your voice, and make sure that if you need someone to talk to, then you find that trusted adult. And of course, teens, they often will talk to their friends, but like, I also like to tell them too, like, sometimes your friends, like, they're just like like, they're young, they don't really know what to do. Like, yeah, you can tell them, but will they give you the best advice? So anyways, always make sure that you can find a trusted adult on campus or in school, because sometimes students do have a good relationship with a teacher that they can go and talk to, if they are going through something like that, and maybe possibly can't talk to a parent.
I always recommend that parents establish a trusted authority for their children, right?
Mhm.
Say this is a godmother, a godfather, grandparents. These are the people that you really can go and talk to when you can't talk to me.
Mhm.
Sometimes parents don't want to do that, but it's really a good idea because it opens up this dialogue that if I can't talk to my mom or I can't talk to my dad, I could talk to you, and then you can help me come and talk to my parents. And this works, right? It
Mhm.
really does works. and it allows you to know, have more of an insight of what's going on with your children. And I also
Yeah.
recommend when you say bring it to the table. When my children come to the table and they're grown, there's no
Mm,
cell phones.
yeah.
I'll look around like restaurants and see children and families, everybody on the cell phone, right? Like they're
Right.
not paying attention, they're not having conversation. So
Yes.
I feel like that's one of the problems is that we
Mhm.
don't communicate anymore. Or you want to text me and you're upstairs and you text me. I need to talk to you. I need to see you. I need that's one
Yes.
thing that I see with our children as it relates to relationship with their parents. And I want people to understand that that plays into this epidemic that we have is the relationship that you have with your children and establishing that real early because you
Mhm.
don't want them to find themselves in a very violent relationship. Um,
Yeah.
Delisa, what are some
Absolutely.
things that you see from a physical or emotional standpoint with teen dating violence?
With teen dating violence, it can, look so different. Like I say, mostly like on social media or when they're arguing or they're saying, oh, well, she said this or he said that to me. And
Of the
it's kind of,
argument. Okay,
yeah,
got
a lot of arguing or tit for tat. And I always tell teens, like, don't let anyone have that much power over you. Power to take you out of your character, or just make you get so upset over, what they have done to you, and so a lot of times I will see that and I'm automatically like just reminding them of who they are. Like, don't allow anyone to take you out of your character, because you know teens, they will cuss, fuss, but even just be so quick to just go off, like nobody's going to talk to me that way, and just different things. But hey, just reminding them of who they are, being, young ladies, and being respectful of themselves. um I think a lot of times too, I have seen where even teens will try to harm themselves, and so being able to also advocate and go get resources from, the Youth Suicide Prevention Center. I think, putting that information out there is also important. We are talking about mental health, right? And so being able to give that resource as well to the parent and to the teen, so that way, if they're thinking about doing that again, because unfortunately through this work I have seen teens just going through depression, not feeling wanted or accepted when friends are, maybe talking to them any kind of way or treating them any kind of way. And so, just being that advocate and boot on the ground to advocate for them and reminding them of who they are, and not just giving that resource to the teen, but also to the parents, so they will also know where it is.
I have a lot of clients that cut. So
Mm-hmm.
cutting is very common. And so I want you to really look at your children, pay attention to them because they're cutting like on their wrists, their arms, they cut on their
Yep.
legs. I've had a client cut between their toes. And so you want to pay attention to these things that are occurring with our teens. And
Mm-hmm.
one of my things, it's not always the physical, it's the emotional. That's the
Mm-hmm.
part that you can't see is how they're in a relationship and they're being treated, emotionally. And then some parents don't even realize that the sexual abuse occurs. Sometimes our teens don't want to have sex, but they go along with it sometimes, or they're forced to do it and they don't know how to come and tell you. It's not always a stranger that are sexually abusing our children. It's also
Yeah.
other teens. And I think that that's important to point out about the sexual relationships and the emotional relationships and abuse that occurs in our teens.
Right. And that's why often we talk about consent with teens, just reminding them, like, no means no. And if that person is not respecting your no, then they are not for you, because it is your body. So, with your body, you have a choice of what anyone can or cannot do with your body. And so, again, going back to that respect, right? So, if I'm respecting you, you're going to respect me. And also letting them know, like, set that tone in your relationships with your friends or whomever, you are building a relationship with, and let them know at the beginning, like, your expectations up front when building those relationships with them, because consent, again, is very important. And anyone who think they can just take control of you, no, like, that's not a good friend, right? So anyone who is in a relationship, I just want to encourage teens as well to make sure that they are setting those boundaries. I always tell them to set those boundaries and let their friend know, what they want in a relationship. So that's also very important when building those with family, friends, whomever. It doesn't matter. Make sure that those boundaries are there.
I think sometimes parents don't realize that they're not assisting their children in creating and understanding boundaries. Because the word boundaries, you really don't know what it means unless somebody definitely sits down with you and talk about what boundaries are. And I
Mhm.
look at sometimes how children are forced to hug their aunt or their uncle, right? Or to sit in your grandfather's lap, or to go sit in your grandfather's lap, or they're forced to have that interaction. That's teaching them that they don't have a voice to say no, right? That
Right.
they don't have that personal space. And children need their personal space. And what happens is as they get older, they're like, I don't have a choice.
Mhm.
I can't say no. And we need them to be able to understand that at a very early age, you could say no about your personal space.
Exactly. Absolutely. You say no about your personal space again, or whatever it is, because when we talk about boundaries, that's like learning, what you like and what you don't like, and making sure that whatever you're not agreeing to, like, no one crosses that.
You don't
you
cross
know
that.
no one crosses that line. No one gets to take that power from you of crossing whatever type of boundary that you're setting. And when you set it, it's also important to not get easy on a person just because they are uncle or auntie, grandma, grandpa, whomever. Like, just making sure that you're consistent, all the way through, to respect yourself enough to say, hey, if you're crossing this boundary, then I'm gonna have to communicate with you that don't do that. Don't do that again. And if it happens again, then these are the matters, that I will have to take, because you're crossing that boundary. And again, if someone is crossing your boundary, then they are not respecting you. So that's that's what I like to say.
At what point do you advise teens to go and talk to an adult? At what point in a relationship should they say, "Oh, I think this is time for me to tell somebody and get some help"?
I think anytime a student, teen, should reach out to, again, a trusted adult, is when they feel they are in danger, or even when they feel that I need to get this off my chest. I need to talk to someone. Or even at the very beginning of relationships, hey, mom, dad, like, I'm thinking about dating this person, or just just being casual about it. But if there's any type of danger, absolutely, as soon as possible. I know sometimes when you're kind of like going through that phase and growing up as a teen, you kind of just feel like, oh, this is the one. Like, I'm so excited. This person is just, oh, I'm just in awe by them. And then as time goes, you kind of see another side of that person. And so you kind of like, wait a minute, where is all of this coming from? So you're kind of going through all of these different types of emotions. So I think even just up front, if we're, talking to our parents, again, or a trusted adult about, we're thinking about dating or being in a relationship, but especially if there is danger, then again, reach out to a counselor, a trusted adult, and let them know what you are going through. And then in all cases, like, if there is an emergency, of course, then you can definitely call 911.
So for me, I wasn't allowed to date, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. My mom's a minister. That was a no go, right? So I did a lot of sneaking. And so I think the conversation should be had, especially if you don't allow your children to date, to have that conversation because they're doing it anyway. Like I've
Mhm.
seen where children early as age 10 are having consensual sex. So we
Mhm.
have to have the conversation. So how do you think that parents can approach that? I know it was difficult for me, and I think people believe that their children are not doing things that they forbid them to do. Essentially,
But, I
let's talk
think,
about that.
right, definitely for me, hey, I was fortunate enough to, have a parent where they're like, hey, are you being sexually active? Like, you know what to do. Like, don't play, like that. So,
I
just
didn't
keep
have
it
that. I
real.
didn't have that. Mm-mm.
Right. Well,
There was no sex
just
conversation. There was a you will not date, you will not be touched by a boy. That was
right.
the conversation for me.
Right. Well, with me, I think I was just waiting so long. My family was like, you okay? Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm just, enjoying life. Like, hey, I'm just a teen here. Give me
Yeah,
some time. So, like, but yeah, I think parents can approach their teens by, again, just keeping it real with them, letting
keep
them
it
know, like,
real.
hey, you've
Yep,
been there before too.
yep.
I think so many parents or just individuals just kind of like just act like they haven't been through anything or just don't understand. They just don't understand, like, oh no, like I would have never done that. Or just, but come on.
We
Like,
did
come on, we've
it.
all been there. Like
Mhm.
getting the butterflies. Oh, this person is so cute. Oh, I'm attracted to this person. Just different things. So I think that parents should keep it real and let your teens know. I've been there before. I've been a teen before. So look, I already know. And if you're thinking about having sex, use protection. Or if you're, thinking about being with this person, I want to meet this person, just keeping it real with them and letting them know, like, you want to build that relationship with them and letting them know, like, I want to make sure that you're in a healthy relationship. I want to make sure that you are safe, not trying to, coddle them or, be so just over them where the child is scared to take steps or scared to tell you anything,
Right.
but
Don't make
just
them scared.
really letting your teen know, like, hey, I've been there, and I want to be there for you. So if there's anything that you need, I am here for you, and I know where those resources are.
I love it. First of all, though, teens don't ever believe that parents know anything. Parents are dumb,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
And these children ask a lot of questions. When I was growing up, questions was a form of disrespect. They
Mhm.
ask a lot of questions. There's a lot of knowledge base for them already. They already know what pornography is. They already know what sex is. It's on the internet. They have access to a lot of information. And
Sure.
I also see people say, "Well, you're not supposed to be your children's friend." But in this generation, you don't have to be friends because you have to have a certain level of authority. But you should be able to have an open conversation. That
Right.
is important because that if that communication closes when something happens, they don't come and tell. They don't
Right.
report, right? So we have to
That's
have
right.
that communication. Talk to your kids. I love Real Talk. I love that program because we just keep it real. I talk
Hmm.
about sex and everything else with kids because they already know.
Hmm.
They know way more than what I did, right? And
Yeah.
so they're in relationships very early, and your children are dating. And so, how do we talk about healthy relationships when they're dating, or if they start dating without your permission? It happens. And if it's without your permission, they will not come and tell you when there's something happening to them. And so, I want parents to really understand that that's a problem for us is that our children cannot come and talk to us.
Yeah, it is. And I think that as we continue to, advocate and give the information on how parents can talk to their teens, I think it's very important for them to know, like, when you're in that teen mind, it's just kind of like you're just learning, you're learning everything, you're trying to learn who you are, and sometimes we can be influenced too as teens just from our friends. kids. I know when I was a teen, it was so many uh, different students just, they were already sexually active, and, they can kind of make you feel like you're missing out on something,
Right.
And so as a teen, you just, you become curious, even just with things like, smoking, just stuff like that. And so I think, even just as being a teen, getting that reminder from your parent of just them reminding you of who you are, and encouraging you to continue to, stay on that path that's positive. And I think, again, that is just so important to remind your student, like, hey, I'm proud of you, I love you, just different things like that, to continue to motivate them, that they don't have to do those things that everybody else is doing, and so we have to incorporate those type of relationships when we are talking to our teen, again, to just let them know that we are there.
We are there. One issue that I had that was brought up to me was when you're a teenager and you really don't want to have sex, right? You just like the guy, you like the girl, but they
Mhm.
want to have sex. How do you handle that, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes you go ahead on and do it anyway because they're asking you and you like them and you want them to like you back, and you feel like if you say no, then they're going to go off to somebody else.
Hmm.
That's a conversation that should be had with between parents and children, I think, right? Because it happens so often. There were times that I've had sex that I didn't really want to do it,
Hmm.
when I was younger, but I did it anyway
Yeah.
because I did it, right? But there was
Right.
no conversation had with me either. Right?
Hmm.
What does that look like for you when somebody is in that catch of they like me, I like them, I really don't want to have sex, but I do. What is your opinion or perspective on that?
My perspective would be, this would go back to boundaries for me, because I've been in those situations where it's like, as a female, I was just kind of like, should I tell this person I don't want to have sex or not? Just, like that. And never opened my mouth. But when it came down to it, the relationship didn't work out. And what the person says is, if you didn't want to have sex, then you should have just said that at the beginning of the relationship, right? Okay, I got it. From here on out, that's what I'm going to do with every single person, that I'm meeting down the line. I'm going to just be upfront, like, no, I don't want to have sex. We can be friends, we can go on dates, but we're not having sex. And so if that person did not agree with that, then hey, of course, we're not moving on with this relationship. And that would just be, again, the boundary that I would set. But I think it took me going through those experiences to know, like, hey, like, sometimes, like, that's literally all people want.
That's all I
And
want,
so
right?
you need to let them know up front, like, this is not what I'm here for. And so, again, keeping it real.
Keeping it real, yeah. And you have to have those conversations because it's almost like when you get in it, you don't know what to do.
Mhm.
Like I really believe that the conversation should be had, and there are a lot of men and women who have had sex as teens that didn't want to. They didn't really want to do it, but it was almost like this certain amount of peer pressure, or because everybody else was doing it, they did it as well. And then
Mhm.
so now you're feeling some type of way. So I think it's important to talk about that. And as you said about consent and understanding that and understanding boundaries and understanding those words when we're
Mhm.
talking to our teens and having that conversation and empowering them, giving
Mhm.
them the power to say no. I don't want to. I didn't have a voice till I probably was about 29, 30 before I would tell people no. I still
That's
don't have
crazy.
time. I know, right?
Crazy that you
I
said that, because
still don't have time.
I feel like since I've turned 29, all of our birthdays are like in February, right?
Right, right.
I was like, you know what? I'm at the point now where I'm just, if anyone is saying something to me that's just off, like, I just have to let them know, like, right now.
Right.
I'm not sugarcoating anything else. Like, this is the age for me where I feel bold enough to say, hey, you're not going to talk to me like that, or hey, I didn't like when you did that. Just letting them know and just informing them, not being rude about it, but just letting them know. So I totally agree with you, Dr. Guyton.
Yeah. And what's funny is that you get this at a very young age. You get it at a very young age, right? I was not where you are. I know I was a good 40 something when I started speaking like you speak, right? When I
Mhm.
started saying, well, my no is my no, and I'm not tolerating this. I was in my 40s. And so I love the fact that you are in this space at an early age and that we're empowering our children now at an early age to speak up for themselves, to stand up, to know that they have a choice, they have a voice, they have a right, and they have a right to tell it. And I tell people that all the time. And so I'm always inspired when I speak to somebody younger
Mhm.
that uses their voice. I could use my voice for other people, but it was hard for me to use it for me, right? I would do it I could stand up for the world. I'm trying to cure world hunger, right? But not
Mhm.
for me. So I'm learning that and walking into that. And I want our teens to walk into that way earlier, way
Yes.
earlier.
Yes, Dr. Guyton, I just think all of you and your staff and the Hush No More team, because even just for me, just personally, you have definitely been a awesome mentor. Just for me, I look up to you and so many of the other women who are advocating for domestic violence and healthy relationships, mental health awareness, just so many different things. Like, because sometime in this world, you can kind of feel like, man, like who else is doing the work, who else is doing the work, who else can I talk to, like, so I just thank you from the bottom of my heart and everything that Hush No More is doing, because you all are amazing, phenomenal women and men over there really doing the work. So I just want to personally thank you on your platform, because I admire you so much, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Delisa. Miss Delisa Adams, you are amazing as well. So we some bad women. Like we got it going on. I'm just gonna tell you that we doing some amazing things in our community, and we're showing love and kindness. That's
Yes,
important.
ma'am.
Yeah, we're showing
Absolutely.
love and kindness. So it's not just me; it's both of us. So we are doing it. So I'm
Yes,
proud
ma'am.
of you too. So thank you, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I want to talk about what we're doing in our community to combat teen dating violence and to discuss healthy relationships, right? So, me and Miss Adams and Monique Young, our organizations partner together to talk about teen dating violence. And do you want to talk about it, Elisa, or you want me to talk about it? I'm so excited about it.
Yes, so the One Love event is going on Sunday. That's March 27th, right?
Right.
So March 27th, at Killian Park, we will be there, coming together to talk to teens about healthy relationships. So bring your teens out. We are super excited. We have those questions for them, gift cards, swag bags, so many different things that we will be giving them, as well as having food. And we will also have a DJ.
Yep. DJ Sub Zero will be there. So we're going to party, right? We're gonna
Exactly.
talk about, see, I believe that, well, one love to me, it is if you love yourself, you will not allow somebody to hurt you and disrespect you. If
Mhm.
you love yourself, you won't hurt and disrespect somebody else. So it is so important that love is taught to our children and how to love themselves and how to love somebody else because we don't understand it. Nobody really taught me how to love.
Mhm.
That's people think that it evolves and it doesn't. And so I am really excited to be able to talk to our teens because I think it's going to make a difference. I think their voice is important.
Yes. Now, when I think about One Love, like I think about like we are in this together. Like we're going to continue to grow, into having healthy relationships, healthier relationships with ourselves, our family, our friends. So I love that One Love thing. Like I think of togetherness
Together.
when I think about it and coming together.
Yeah. And it's like we're coming together to really pour into others, right? And
Mhm.
different mentoring programs, different programs that are in our community are coming together to show
Mhm.
love to our kids. And
Mhm.
The one thing that a lot of parents have been asking me is why parents are not allowed at this event.
Ooh.
Why, Miss Adams, why are parents not allowed at the One Love event this year?
Yes. Listen, parents, we love you, but hey, this is a conversation for the teens so they can really say how they feel.
Mhm. Yeah. And it's not for us to get your kids apart from you where we think that they're gonna snitch or something. It has no negative energy to it, right? None.
Right.
None of
Exactly.
that. Take you a break, drop them off, take a break,
Hmm.
and leave them with us. And it's just about showing love to them and creating the connection now, just in case something happens to your children, they feel empowered and they have an organization and multiple organizations to reach out to for help. You got to establish that connection now.
Exactly. Resources will be there. So
Resource.
please bring your teens out and let them join this impactful conversation where we will also be empowering them.
We'll be empowering them. Yeah, so we're gonna have fun. Like I am really excited. I love working with kids because I
Me too.
realize that they need to have that connection outside of school.
Yeah.
Outside of school. So we're doing it on a Sunday, so we don't have to compete with the sports and all the other events that your kids have going on Saturday. And
Yeah.
it's one love, a party to explore healthy relationships. And Miss Adams has some very difficult questions that she's going to be posing to.
Yes. But often the teens, they love the questions and it gets the conversation going. And that's what we
Mhm.
want. So, a series of questions just on, like healthy relationships or just things that go on, possibly in those relationships when they are probably just dating or just what they say, like we just talking, uh, you know, bringing that all of those different questions to the table to really get that response out of them. And if there's anything just that's just off the wall, I promise you, we are there to facilitate and to, correct and give those resources so they will know how to handle relationships better.
Better. Yeah. And we don't advocate for kids to have sex. That is definitely not what we do.
No, 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 no,
We
no. No.
think that sex is complicated. So this is not a hookup party where we're gonna be like, yeah,
Right.
start dating. That's definitely not what this is. And I had that question as well. We're not
Hmm.
advocating for that at all. But
Right.
I will tell you, a lot of them are already sexually active. So you've got to
Hmm.
have that conversation with your children.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree.
So you can go on our website, hushnomore.org, and register for One Love, a party to explore healthy relationships. We want all teens to come out ages 13 to 19. Come on out, have the conversation. We wanted the older kids to be there so they can give a perspective to the younger kids because it's all about growing together and understanding experiences. So that's why we have that age. And I think it's going to be a great event. It's at Killian Park, Columbia, South Carolina. If you're not in South Carolina, you're definitely going to miss this one. And we're just going to be about showing love and kindness from 2 to 5 p.m.
All right. Sounds good. I am ready to go. I'm excited about it.
I am, I am. And so, Delisa, what is some other things that you have going on? I know you have a
Hmm.
support group that's coming up. Can you tell everyone about
Yes. So, like I mentioned earlier, the Purple Chat, we meet once a month, actually, third Mondays of the month. We had a very good session yesterday, and it was all about, growing in healthy relationships with yourself, your family, friends, school, and work. Also, just talking about, self care as well. And everyone that was a part of that session yesterday were able to take a flower, except of course if they were on the virtual platform. But with that flower, it symbolizes to keep growing in your relationships, to continue to making sure that they are healthy. We're growing every day, right? So just giving that to them as a reminder to keep on growing. And so we have that again third Mondays of the month from 7:30 to 8:30. So if that is something you are interested in, please contact us. Go to our website, visionsofwomen.org. You can check us out there. And you can also send an email to contact@visionsofwomen.org, and I will email you back, give you that information to join us.
I love it. I love it. I think events and coming together is important for our community. That
Hmm.
we do have to just join each other. So I appreciate you. I thank you. I thank you for the work that you're doing. I
Yes, ma'am.
love that you're on college campuses because we go off to college and we have no clue. I was in college and I've never heard anything as related to domestic violence or teen dating violence, any of that, right? So I
Exactly.
appreciate you for being the voice on our college campuses and working with our teams, and that means a lot. And I want you all to check out Miss Adams' website, visionsofwomen.org. They're a great program. If you have young girls that need support, please reach out to her and even talk about how to have that conversation with your daughters, right? That's
Exactly.
important. That is very
Hmm.
important. So
So
thank you for
important.
that.
Yes, ma'am.
So Hush No More has quite a few events coming up that I am excited about. So let me go into them. On 2 April, we have a concealed weapon permit class. It is important for you to understand, if you so choose, how to use a weapon and how to use it safely, especially in the state of South Carolina. So we're
Yes.
going to be doing concealed weapon permit training and self-defense training for 2 April. 9 April, we are doing the 5K against sexual abuse. This is a virtual event. Please sign up on our website. You can also join us on that morning, Saturday morning, and walk with us. But we want you to walk in your community to help raise awareness and to post on social media. On 10 April, we are doing the Hush No More documentary screening that shares the stories of a lot of survivors as it relates to the hush topics. It is a great documentary and would love for you all to join us on 10 April. Then on 30 April, what I'm really excited about is
Mhm.
about crime. So,
Yes.
Stomp Out Crime is about us coming together, having a step show and different performances in our community as it relates to Crime Victims Week. It doesn't matter what crime you are a victim of or that you might become a victim of to come out into our community. Visions of Women, Rediscover Me, she did that event. No, she did that community foundation.
Mhm.
Who else? It's
My
my
sister's voice,
voice
restoration and purpose.
and restoration and purpose. Ladies, forgive me because I definitely love all of you. But
Yes.
we're coming together to put on an amazing community event at Benedict College football stadium. So it'll be right outside the stadium. You could
Hmm.
bring some chairs, come out, hang out with us. We have DJ Sub Zero there. And it's
Yes.
going to be a great day. The City of Columbia Police Department, Richland County Sheriff Department, and
Hmm.
different nonprofits will be there so that you can get resources. And the first 1,000 participants that show up will get a free personal security alarm. So that if
Yes.
you're in an emergency situation, click on the alarm and it helps protect you. And so we're
Hmm.
really excited about this event. And
I am
Ms.
excited.
Adams, what would you like to add about Stomp Out Crime?
Oh my goodness. Like, I am super excited. Thanks to those who have already been supporting this event with all of us coming together. I think it's very important, just again, those resources that we're bringing to the table, having different organizations come out and give those resources, and for us to even just honor family or individuals who've been through some type of violence, right? Because when we think of, National Crime Victims Awareness Week, although we're just, celebrating it on that day, it's, for an entire week, to give us the opportunity to raise awareness towards all different types of crimes. So again, I really love that we're, going to be honoring people. Our program, we will have performers and just different things to come together as a community to raise awareness towards National Crime Victims Week. So I'm loving it. I'm here for all of the different people we have coming out, just all of the different type of information. Food will be there.
Food will
Okay.
be there.
Food, um, you know, people with trucks, that have food and ice cream, just snow cones, just different things. Like, it's a family event. So bring your children, because we are definitely excited for this event. And again, bringing the community together. Like, I love it.
We'll have a face painter, right? We're gonna
Yes.
be a bounce house and
Bounce house.
yeah, different vendors. So it's gonna be a great community day. And we do know that the Sweet Potato Festival is going on at the same time, but like around the
Mhm.
same time. But you could drop off at the Stump Out Crime and then head on over to the Sweet Potato Festival.
Yes. Right. Come holler at us in the morning time.
Yeah, yeah. It starts at
Around
11 a.m.
about 11, about 11,
Yeah.
it, it's gonna be a nice gathering. So come on out and come support and come get information and bring a friend, bring your family, bring the children. It's gonna be awesome.
I love it. I love it. So we're all partnering together to just make a difference in our community. And so I'm going to run down the organizations of again that are going to be there. So not just Hush No More, additionally Visions of Women, Rediscover Me, My Sister's Voice. She did that foundation and also Restoration and Purpose for Women. So we will be there just celebrating life and showing love to our community. So please
Mhm.
come out. There are going to be some great, amazing resources there to include counselors. If you're looking for a counselor, counselors will be there. So if you want to be a vendor, we still have space. If you want to be a vendor, if you just want to come out, show some love.
Yes, and if you have a bike group or a car group, please come out and support. Come be a part of this event.
Of this event. I love it. Thank you. That's 30 April. So we have a busy month. You can go to hushnomore.org and look at all of the events and register for any of them. They are all great events. Like we don't put on nothing that's not good. I can tell you that. When
Exactly.
we put it on, it's going to be a good event. And so I look forward to
That's
just
right.
meeting more people in our community and trying to make a difference. So, all right, Delisa, do you have anything else that you would like to add before we close out this amazing conversation?
No, ma'am. Just thank you again for having me here. And I wish many blessings to everyone who has taken the time out to listen to this conversation.
Indeed. You have heard the amazing Miss Delisa Adams. She is phenomenal at visionsofwomen.org. Contact her if you need any assistance as it relates to teens and college students and see how she can help you. How can her organization provide resources for your children? And make sure that you have the conversation. You can share this video with your teens. You can sit down with them, talk with them. These are great topics that you could raise with our kids. And remember, it's 1 in 3 teens that are experiencing this. That is a lot of kids, right? It's a lot of kids. So,
Yeah.
peace and blessings to you all. It's not easy to be a parent. It's not easy to be a teen, but we can make it work. So, you all have an amazing day, and thank you for tuning in to Hush No More Champion.
Bye.